What's up, you guys? This is your boy Miguel giving you the daily dose of radiation, and today we got a little something special for you guys. We will be covering everything that pisses off the nurses, the doctors about us, just in case you wish to join this field, or you're a student, or you're in the new coming, or if you're choosing to work in a hospital. Once again, I work at a trauma 3 center, and I take x-rays overnight, 8 to 8. So, one of the most biggest complaints we get from the ER, we'll start from the ER and work our way out. So from the ER, the doctors or nurse practitioners, the biggest complaint they always be giving us I would say is that they want their x-rays, now, but the nurses will be in the room, so you can't take it, so you move on to the next patient, and then you shoot him, but apparently he is not as stat or as urgent as the other patient, and you're like, well, doctor, your nurse is in there, we can't get it. Or same way with the trauma room. Though the trauma come in, let's say you're up on the floor shooting some stats that happen on the floor, and they'll call you, like, where are you at? We have a trauma. Come shoot it. And then you're like, oh, okay, we'll be down there. So you go down there, and then you finally shoot it, and they don't like to wait. Or you're trying to, they'll order x-rays, they order a bunch of stuff, and then they'll call you. And then you go up there, and then they'll send them off to CT. But then they still want their pictures. So once they get out of CT, they're like, where are my x-rays? I'm like, dog, you just sent him to CT. And they've been struggling. Like, what do you want us to do? Like, we'll get it when we can. Like, back off. Or, let's see what other stuff they'll complain. They'll order something, and then the patient can't stand. Or the patient's too weak. And then they'll be like, why can't you do it? And we're like, we have to do it standing. Our radiologist specifically wants it standing because of, I guess, the air fluids, or depending what they're looking for. And then sometimes they don't understand. Or you'll go in there and you'll shoot an x-ray, and they'll come in and like, okay, that's good. And you're like, well, I have specific shit I gotta do, so I don't get in trouble. But they're like, no, it's fine. So then you leave, and then you're like, well, we gotta come back. And then they get annoyed that you're in there and doing more stuff. So that kind of bothers our emergency doctors here. And then another thing that pisses off the doctors on the floor is they'll order stuff and they'll want it now, but we tell them, unless it's like rapid response or the patient truly is dying, we have to shoot the ER, we have to shoot the trauma. Like, there's been times where they'll call us, and there's only 2 of us. They'll call us from the floor, like, oh, we need so-and-so stat, the doctor needs to see it, like, as soon as possible. We're like, well, I'm in the code in the trauma room, the other tech's in the other trauma room behind me. I'm like, it's gonna be a minute. There's only 2 of us. There ain't nothing we can do, because our supervisor tells us that the emergency room comes first. So that will piss off the doctors a lot of the times. Or if they'll order something and they'll put it in not stat, and then they want it, and then they'll call, like, why didn't you shoot this? Like, well, we've been in the emergency room the whole time. That'll piss them off. Or they'll get mad if they don't have a report, or their image doesn't get read. Because where we work at, after midnight, there's no radiologist. And to get a report, you have to send it to the online rad, and it's a bunch of deals. So sometimes they'll be ordering stuff, and then they'll be calling us like, why doesn't this have a report? And we're like, sir, you know I don't have a report. There's no radiologist. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, sir, you've been working here for like 5 years, dude. Like, you should already know this. So that will piss them off too. And then same thing for the nurses. The nurses in the emergency room, they'll get mad because you'll come in and you just try to take your little picture, but they're in there doing their, basic patient care stuff. It only takes you 30 seconds. And they're like, well, I was here first. And then I'm like, well, we got like 50 other ones. If we come back, it's going to be a long time before we come back. And then they're like, I guess. Or they'll be in the emergency room and there'll be a trauma. And then they'll be just heard like running around like little ants doing a bunch of stuff. And you're just like, well, the doctor wants me to shoot this. Y'all gonna get out? Y'all don't? You hear me rotoring. The doctor wants it. And then you shoot them. And then they're like, no. They start complaining. I'm like, the doctor literally yelled, I want this x-ray. And y'all are still in the way. Like they'll get pissed off that they get shot at radiation. Like, what do you want me to do? If I don't shoot it, I get in trouble. If I that will piss off the nurses a lot of the times in our department. Or when the patient's okay, and then the doctor orders something, and then you just make the patient mad. That will also piss off the patients. What else is a big one that they get mad at? The nurses on the floor are a little bit more worse than the nurses in the emergency room. Ours, they've been there a long time, so they kind of know the gig. But the ones on the floor, they get traded so much, like the NBA team. Like they're never at the same facility or the same. Like they're always moving. So like certain floors, they're the same, so we don't have problems. They already know what's up. But other floors, they'll get mad because they'll order something. Especially like there's the one floor where they order something like we need this. The patient has shortness of breath or whatever. Like we need it now. And we'll go over there and the patient's just chill. And then like he's not even dying. He's just good. And I'm like, this is a true stat. The patient would like even like, why are you in here? Why are you shooting this? I don't need it. And I'm like, well, they call. And true stat. And like we even asked the nurse like, why you call us down here? Like he's dying and he's good. Like we literally have true emergencies in the hospital, like it's trauma, or like you take us away from other like situations, like just to do something that could have been like a morning port. So that will piss them off because they think that I guess there's many of us. Then until later on they figure out there's only two of us because they'll see us all the time. Only two for the whole hospital. So that will annoy them. Or the same thing with the report. They don't understand. If they order something before midnight, some of them, the audacity to order it like 11:50, and then they'll call and ask us to shoot it. And then we're like, okay, fine, we'll shoot it. And they're like, I put it in before 12. You said if it's before 12, it's gonna get red. I'm like, ma'am. By the time I get up there and by the time I get back, it's already 12. Like they're already gone. Like that will annoy them a lot too. So slowly, some of the nurses are getting pitted there, but that will piss them off too. Yeah, but those are the main things. I mean, respiratory, we don't really have any problems with respiratory. We're kind of on the same team because they understand because they need the chest x-ray so they can do their job better and understand what's going on with their patient. So it's kind of a we kind of the same squad type view. If they intubate, so we really don't have no beef with them, nor with CT. CT is more like I want to do my x-rays, but you took them, you beat me to get those CT's done. Where sometimes it's all cool because if it's like some neck problem, like their shit's more priority than ours, so we're just gonna be like, okay, cool, whatever, So it's kind of like, you understand the hierarchy of importance of the patient and his ankle if his neck's over here snap. So we get along with them. Ultrasound's a little bit different though. Their exams take a little bit more longer longer than ours. So if they're in there, they're gonna be in there for a little bit, way long. So it's kind of like we're in there like, damn, they beat us. We know it's gonna be a minute. We might as well just go do something else. It's kind of a like iffy relationship with them too. But they understand we're all button pushers. We push the button, so they're pretty cool too. Not as bad. But yeah, hopefully this gives you an insight of what to expect out in the field. Oh, and just real quick, transport, they too will get mad at us if we order stuff to get brought down, because their next response is, couldn't you shoot it portable? And then we try to explain the whole deal about how the image should be more crispy and better downstairs than upstairs, especially them big boys. And those, they get mad because it's them big boys, true big boys, that they gotta drag down, and they heavy. And there's usually only one, sometimes even one transporter for the whole hospital, so it adds to it. But sometimes, like when we order for them, they'll be getting mad, and I'm like, on our 7 days on that we work, like we rarely even get anyone to transport, unless it has to be done. Like if it's a pacemaker, you need a 2-view chest, so we'll bring them down. Or if it's like a big boy, and our pictures look terrible, portable. Those two are another worker that they have their ifs about us. But yeah, it's been your boy Miguel. Hope this gives you some insight on the field and what to expect and understand. And hope you enjoy your daily dose of radiation. See you on the next one.